Hello and welcome to Journeys of Restoration, my channel. I'm your host, Jacinta Canary, and here I talk about my journeys of forgiveness, my faith, and mental health, and all things wellness and well-being. This week I am delving into my teaching career, a little bit of background and how I ended up in the United Kingdom, and let's get right into it. So after I finished my teacher training college at Dower College of Education, I got a wee job, wee is small for Scottish. So that's my Scottish accent coming out, just to throw that in there. It was a small school, it's only 4 staff members. It was okay at the time, but I knew I wasn't going to go back to that school. The teacher was a bit conservative in his outlook on life. I'm a curious person. I like to get to know people. I like to try new things. I like to travel. And I didn't have another teaching job lined up. But towards the middle of the year, my friend Rowleen, who I went to college with, she was teaching at this Model C school in Mtata. And she was phoning me to say they were looking for junior primary teachers to come and teach. And I said, yeah. So I went for the interview and got offered the job. I was really young and vibrant school, young head teacher as well. And a good mix of teachers, old and young. And there's a nice buzz, nice energy about the school. There's a lot of youngsters of us from Dower College. It was really fun and exciting times. I taught there for a year and a half, and then one opportunity came up in another big private school in the Transkei, and I went for the interview and offered the job. It was a big jump. There was like 3 groups of like 3 classes of every year group, and it was a junior school, like a middle school, and in a high school. It was massive, and there was a lot of politics in the staff from dynamics. And yeah, I learned about the backbiting and power play and people wanting promotions and people just backstabbing each other. Was really kind of like a eye opener for me. But I like life. In life, I always found someone, the older person who took me under the wing. And I met this lady from Ghana, Mrs. Ofori. She showed me the ropes. She kept me under her wing. So it was really good. I also had a bit of heartbreak that time. I met someone older and not of the same faith, and didn't work out too well. So I had my experience of heartache and disappointment. But I had good friends. I had Shamel, I had Rolene, who supported me through this, and we still went to church on Sundays, a Catholic church, and then we went to go phone on Sunday nights. And I wasn't really interested in love or relationship. I was just, I was a homey kind of person, like old school, I would say boring, predictable. Like I would cook food, I would bake biscuits, bake cakes, bake bread, try new things, that kind of girl. Read, try knit, just do homey kind of stuff. And one of the flatmates made friends with the guys next door, and this guy used to come to the house. This guy from Scotland, he worked at another private school. He showed some interest in me, and I was like, nah, this guy's gonna go back to Scotland. It's just this temporary fling, was just messing about, and it's gonna break my heart. He's not interested. Anyway, so we kept coming around, and I thought, this guy is coming here for the other girls. What's he doing with me? And then kind of became close. And then I thought, yeah, it's just something short term. And then he asked me to marry him. We started dating in September. He asked me to marry him. So got married, planning for December. Yeah. But I had to go meet my mom and dad. And my mom was really, she loved him. My dad was resistant. It was still just coming out of the throes of the apartheid. It was just fresh. And said that, this marriage is going to be full of complications, and what are the children going to be? There's all these things to consider, you know. But, we sat him down and said, we are going to get married, and this is the way it's going to be. He's either going to get on board, or, that's how it's going to be. I was so very resistant, my dad used to speak Afrikaans, and Steve didn't understand. When we prayed at night time, my dad would pray in Afrikaans, and I was kept reminding him, and I had to interpret for Steve. It was just I told my dad it's rude, inconsistent, and it's not nice. We shouldn't treat people that way. Suppose the rebelliousness came out in me. Yeah, and then got married in December 96. Got my visa stuff organized, came over to UK in February 1997. Oh, that was a culture shock. Oh, it was cold, grey, rainy. Really struggled with my mental health. I was on the phone to my mum every day and really struggled to adjust, but managed to yet again plug into a church, volunteer, and didn't really like it in London. Then we went to West Sussex, which was really pretty, but I couldn't get a job as a teacher. I could only get a job as a teaching assistant. So we decided to go to Scotland. So we ended up in Scotland, applied for the General Teaching Council of Scotland, got temporary conditional registration, and started looking for jobs. It was okay to get sessional supply jobs, but I couldn't get any permanent jobs. But then I got offered in 1999 in February. I went for some interviews in the borders because my husband got offered a job in one of the high schools in the borders, and so I thought I'll apply for some jobs. And I went to a few interviews. Always didn't have enough experience, or you're really good, but you haven't got experience in Scotland. And then out of the blue, I got this phone call about this teacher in this little village, and she said, "Do you want to come for an interview?" And my friend Celine was still visiting, so she drove me, and I went preparing for interview, and I was all nervous, and I just had a conversation, and she said, we just talked, and I thought, when is she going to interview me? And then at the end, she said, "Oh, when can you start? Can you start tomorrow?" And I was like, "You didn't interview me." And she said, "No, I know the head teacher of the last school you went to. She said you were really good, but she didn't have enough experience. But I would really want you to start here. And can you start tomorrow?" And I was like, "Yeah, thank you, God." So that's how I ended up in teaching in the Scottish Borders, my first permanent job. And yeah, so that's a little bit about my story in Scotland. And now we're going to go to our verse, which is taken from Ezekiel 36, verse 26. And I read, "And I will give you a new heart, and I will put a new spirit in you. I will take out your stony, stubborn heart and give you a tender, responsive heart." So, what does that mean? Even through all the difficult things I went through, there was a new season in my life, and I found love and all the new beginnings. So, God gives people new hearts and new desires, and things can be new and exciting, and things can change. So, that's your story for this week, down memory lane and love and disappointments. So, thank you for listening. See you next time. Stay blessed and beautiful.